Hello, this is Mandy with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today's class is DocuSign 101. DocuSign is a platform where you can edit your forms and send them to your clients in order to get signatures and receive them back. So we'll be covering that today, the basics of that. If you're here with me live, you can definitely drop any questions or comments in the chat, and I'll be happy to help get those answered for you. If I don't answer them right away, no worries. Keep them coming. I'll make sure I spend a couple of minutes towards the end of class getting those all answered for you. And if you're watching this back on recording, you can always reach out to us via email. It's support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we'll be happy to help. And for you guys just coming in, let me drop those links in the chat again for you here. That way you've got them. That's our email address, our YouTube link, and then also our website. There's free templates and free marketing we can do for you there, as well as free services. So make sure to check that out. All right. And so with DocuSign, again, it's just a platform where you can edit forms and also send them out for signatures. And so this is how most of you will be able to access your brokerages forms, your market center forms, as well as your board forms, your MLS board forms. And so I'll show you how to do all of that today and get them submitted to your market center for compliance. This is kind of a part two class. The part one is our opportunities and sales pipeline class that walks you through getting opportunities created and all the pieces outside of getting signatures. So definitely recommend checking that out. The archive is on our YouTube channel, and so you can go there to watch that. Let us know if you have any questions, okay? And so this class is going to focus on the forms portion, making sure you have access, making sure you can edit them, and then also how you can send them for signatures, receive them back, and get them submitted to your market center. Okay. Um, I will type that name into the chat. I see that. So it's called the Opportunity and Sales Pipeline class. And actually, let's just take a quick second here, guys, and I'm going to go grab a recording for you. So it's on our YouTube channel. You can always use this little magnifying glass right here to keyword search. So I'm going to put in opportunities, sales, and this is the class right here. You'll just want to make sure that you're getting the most recent one. The ones that tend to show up towards the top are the ones with the most views. You need to scroll down just a little bit to see the most recent one. So this one was just done 13 days ago. So I'm going to grab that link and throw it in the chat for you. There you go. Okay, so that'll give you your basics of the opportunities. Okay, let me move back here to our command dashboard. And so let's first talk about how to get a KW DocuSign account created in the first place. It does need to be a KW DocuSign account that will help it be compatible with Command and your opportunities. So if you have a pre-existing DocuSign account, whether it's a free trial or a paid account, either way, if it was not created originally within Command, the chances of it being compatible are very slim. Okay, so I'm going to show you in your command settings here how to see if you have a Command KW DocuSign account and how to make sure it's linked to your Command account. So first things first, click on your name in the top right-hand corner of Command and go to your settings. And from right here, right underneath Connected Apps here, you can already see that our DocuSign account is in connected status right here. This is what you want to see. This gives you a little preview of the email address that you would use to log into that DocuSign account, and you want to see it in connected status. Make sure this is done before creating your opportunities. Okay, that way, once you create your opportunities, your DocuSign will be properly linked to Command so that you can make sure that they kind of talk to each other. That will make a little more sense as we move further along today, and I'll touch on that again for you. I am going to disconnect this. I do not recommend you do this in your own account. I just want to show you a couple of other things just in case you do not have it in connected status. I'm going to disconnect it briefly. There we go. And so this may be what your settings looks like under connected apps. You may not see DocuSign. Let's mosey on down. And under digital signature and transactions, you'll see DocuSign is now listed here in not connected status. If this is what you're seeing, I'm going to show you the steps on how to get it linked. Over here on the right, you can connect account. And if you do not have a KW DocuSign account just yet, this is how you can create one. You would click connect account, make sure your business email is listed right here, your name appears correctly in those fields, and then choose send registration email. It will send an invite, what's called a DocuSign invite, to your email. And you'll want to make sure you follow the steps in that email in order to finish the setup and create your password to the DocuSign account. If you get any kind of errors, like let's say you already have a DocuSign account underneath that business email, you may get an error here and may not be able to create a new account. If you run into anything like that, feel free to reach out to us. Or if you're just not sure if your DocuSign account is a KW DocuSign, we'll be happy to check on that for you and help you move forward. If you already have a KW DocuSign account and you just need to get it connected to Command, you can, and let me X this out, you can click Connect Account, come back to the same screen, and just click Log In here. This is where you can go ahead and enter the email which you have your account set up under. Give me 2 seconds. There it goes. You would enter your email, click Log In. It's going to open you a little DocuSign window. It's checking the connection and the account. And it should prompt you, here we are, should prompt you for the password for that account, and click Login. Takes it just a second, and you should get a banner of success right here at the top, letting you know that it's now ready. Notice that now DocuSign is no longer under digital signature section. It's traveled on up underneath our connected app section. And you can see now that DocuSign is listed back here in connected status again. And again, this is what you want to see. Okay, so just to recap, that's how to make sure your KW DocuSign account is created and how to make sure that it is linked to your command properly. Now that we have our KW DocuSign account, we have it connected to command. Now you can go and start creating opportunities. I'm going to travel over to the opportunities tab now. It's the little hands shaking on the left-hand side. If you're not familiar with the icons just yet, you can always click that red square at the top and it will pop the names out for you. From right here, again, our opportunities and sales pipelines class goes over how to create opportunities and the basics of that, how to find them, things like that. So today I'm not going to be covering that. I'm just going to jump right on in to one of our existing opportunities. And so I can see that here, one of my buyer's opportunities in appointment phase is the one I'd like to use today. So I'm going to click into that phase. And this is our little guy right here. So I'm going to click on the opportunity name just to open up the opportunity. And so from here, this is our details tab in an opportunity. Definitely recommend making sure you've got as much information on this tab first before moving into your documents. That way, once you do move into your documents, any information listed here on the details tab will also feed into DocuSign and help populate information on your forms for you, saving you some time. So again, details tab in your opportunity. If it was a listing opportunity, you'd also see a section right here at the top where you can link a property, a listing, to the opportunity that would help fill in this information for you. For this buyer, if you do already have a property in mind, you can come right here and click the pencil to edit this information and add it in, along with the other fields. Again, opportunity and sales pipeline goes into how to edit all of this information. Then, once you have your details tab completed as much as possible, You can then go to your Documents tab. From your Documents tab, you may not see this information listed down here, these forms that you can see listed here. If they're not showing, you may need to travel over here to the left and choose a particular compliance checklist for your opportunity before you will see the forms that you need to have for the transaction. So this particular opportunity is already chosen, but I'm going to click on these lists to show you. And each market center will be different. Each market center has their own compliance checklist. Some have more, some have less. This, it looks like we have two options for a buyer opportunity, either residential or commercial. So we're going to choose residential. And we're in the consultation phase. So we're going to leave that selected. That will show you over here the two forms that you need to gather for this particular market center. You may be seeing more or less. Okay. And so once you see these particular form names, you'll know those are the ones that you need for compliance. Notice they are conditional. If I go over here to under contract, we should see, there we go. So when I come to under contract, you can see that some show required that you'll have to have, conditional, and then some are optional. Okay. So this tab right here in your opportunity shares with you the forms that you'll need for that particular transaction. If this was a brand new opportunity, over on the right-hand side right here, instead of saying go to transaction, it would say start transaction. That's your next step. You'll want to click start transaction, and what should happen is it will open you a new tab into DocuSign and allow you to begin looking at your forms. Once you've created that DocuSign, what we call room, it's a space where your forms will be for this particular transaction. This opportunity and that DocuSign room are synced. They are linked together and you can sync the information. I'll show you that in just a second, a little further. This DocuSign room has already been created. And so instead of saying start, it just says go to transaction. I want to add the disclaimer. It's very important. In order to have that DocuSign room correctly linked to your command opportunity, you'll want to make sure you come through your opportunity the first time and click Start Transaction for it to correctly create that DocuSign room. If you go the first time to DocuSign and create a room without using the opportunity to create that first, they won't link properly. It's not the end of the world. It just takes some convenience away from you as an agent because then you'll have to manually download forms from DocuSign and manually upload them into your opportunity. So, to save yourself some grief, come to an opportunity first. Make sure you click Start Transaction and let it create that DocuSign room for you from the opportunity. Then, once it's done and it says Go To, you're more than welcome to sign directly right into DocuSign and go to that room if you need to. That's 100% okay. You'll just want to do it the initial time to make sure it's linked properly. Okay? So now let's go ahead, see if it's going to let me get into this DocuSign room. This is a demo account, guys, so sometimes you might see something a little funky on our end. We'll see if it lets me on in. Perfect. Okay, great. So here we are in this DocuSign room. Again, the room that's created is just a space. Think of it as a file folder. It's a place to keep all of your information on the DocuSign platform for this transaction. Okay. And it automatically opens us right here to the Documents tab. All right. So those are the basics. That's the getting started. Get that room created. And I'm going to pause right here in the process and just talk a little bit about making sure you have access to your board and your Market Center forms within DocuSign. Okay. So I'm just going to show you a few back-end settings. to make sure that you have full access. If you were set up by your market center or set up by here at Scott Leroy Marketing, chances are this is already done for you and you won't need to get into this. But just in case, I want to make sure that everybody's aware where this is integration, it's called an integration for your forms. I want to show you where it lives in your DocuSign account just so you can eyeball it, make sure everything's good to go. Okay. Now, some states like California and also our Canadian agents, you may get your forms from a different third party like Web Forms or Authentisign, something like that. So definitely speak with your market center. If you are like California or our Canadian agents, you may have a different process than what I'm fixing to show. What I'm fixing to show will apply to the majority of you. If your board, your MLS board, is providing forms to you through DocuSign, you will be able to access them by integrating your NERDS number, your NRDS, also known as your M1 number. So let me show you how to do that. You would go to your initials in the top right and come down to Preferences. From here, you would go to your Integrations tab. There we go. And right here under DocuSign Form Settings, you want to see company forms and also your NAR forms, your National Association of Realtors forms. Okay. You should see both of them listed here. Some market centers may be a little different. You may only see company forms because they'll provide those other forms to you. To get this to show here, to make sure it's integrated, you can click Add Provider. Down here at the bottom, the company forms can be added right here at the bottom without entering any information like your NERDS number. If you have not set this up yet, it will be a blue link and you'll just simply click on it. Once you do, it'll bring you back to this screen and show you company forms listed right here under providers. You're good to go then for at least your market center forms. To integrate your NERDS number so that you can access your board forms, in most cases, you would also want to click on Add Provider, choose your board. The majority of you would just choose the Realtor icon. You would enter your 9-digit member ID number M1. They're currently changing the name of NERDS NRDS number to M1. So however you reference yours, you would enter your 9-digit number here, your last name exactly as it shows on your state license, and then you would choose your association from the drop-down menu. Then you would click Validate. It would bring you back to the screen, and it would say NAR listed right here under Providers. Sometimes a board will use zip forms in order to provide forms to you. And if that's the case, you can come right up here to the top as well, click the arrow for zip forms, and enter a username and password for that account and click Save in order to access those zip forms. Okay. Those are the most popular integrations for forms. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware that this is where it lives. This is where you can come check it. And if you have any questions, if you're not seeing it or you're not able to access forms that you feel like you should have access to, definitely reach out to us. We'll be happy to check on it for you. From here, now that we've gone over how to integrate the forms, let's go back into our DocuSign room and talk about how to get your forms into the room so that you can start editing them and filling them out for your clients. So we're just going to go back up to our Rooms tab and find our room that we were just working on. By the way, you can go to your dashboard as well if you want to see the ones that you were just recently working on. So it might be a little quicker. But from Rooms right here, you do have some search and sort and filter options in order to find the room that you want to find. All of these little cards are rooms. You can also look at them in list view as well. if you're trying to navigate to a different room. I'll come back to our dashboard up here. And the room that we were just in should be listed first as our most recently viewed rooms. I'm glad this popped up just now. It's random, but if you just linked or just set up your DocuSign, your KW DocuSign account, you may see this screen pop up. What it's asking you to do is just to authorize that link between Command and DocuSign. So anytime you see this, not a bad idea to go ahead and click authorize. What it does is opens a new command tab for you and just again brings you right here to your DocuSign connected status. Okay? Just to show you what that does if you ever get that pop up. We can come back over here to our DocuSign tab. If you've already done this once, there's no need to continue doing it. You can just click X and eventually that will stop populating. Okay? So we'll click back into our room here that we were working on. Go to our Documents tab. And now let's talk about how to get forms into the actual DocuSign room here. Now you can see we have some forms already in here that have already been added. And in some cases, for some market centers, they already have it set up to where as soon as you create that DocuSign room, you will have forms automatically added into your room for you. Each little tile that you're seeing is a different form. You'll see a preview, the name, and also some contact information below about either who has the form or who provided the form. So from right here, we can add in more forms by coming to the Add button. And this gives us several options. I can upload from my device. It will upload it as a PDF, meaning it's a flat document. There's no fields that you can go ahead and enter information in, but you can add fields later, and I'll show you how. You have your DocuSign forms. We'll jump into this in two shakes. This is where you access those Market Center forms and board forms that we just talked about integrating. You can also access your Zip Forms account from here to add forms from there if that is something you're currently using. And then you have a couple of other options down here as well if you want to upload documents from either Box, Dropbox, or Google Drive. The first time you do it, it may ask you to log into those accounts in order to give access so you can bring forms in, okay? We'll go ahead and click on DocuSign Forms just so I can show you how to add forms directly from your forms library. What you're seeing here is on the left-hand side, you have two sections, right? The bottom are libraries. And you should notice now we have a ton here because again, demo account. But let me click show more so I can give you an option or some options to view. You'll see these types of libraries. When it's an MLS, you usually see the initial abbreviation and then the full name of the association. So you likely see at least one, if not a few, of those in your libraries. And then you can scroll down. Again, you won't see this many. And then you might see a library that looks like this format, and that's going to be your Market Center forms. Okay. So with it being library like this, that means when I click on one of these, I get to see all of the forms available within that library. These are the forms over here on the right. You can see their name. You can use the eyeball to actually preview them. The sample form is grayed over like a watermark on the forms just in this preview. It is not there once you add it to your room. Okay. And close the preview. And then you can check off which forms you want to add to your room. Notice the selected tab begins tallying those and keeping up with them. You can select all as well if you want. And you can also use your search feature at the top if you're looking for a particular form. And it will let you know. You can keep the keyword you're trying to search or form name in the search field and just continue to click through your libraries until you can find that form. Something that makes it a little easier, I'll X out my little keyword search here. is up at the top, you'll see packets. These are pre-made packets, kind of like a file folder for specific types of transactions to help you out. So you may see a few of these created either by your board or your market center. And so you'll see like this folder is just for rental listings. Let's see if we can find a couple more that are pretty simple to understand. So like residential listing, traditional listing, short sales. Again, these are created either by your board or your market center. So these names will differ. You most likely will not see these same ones in your file or your account like you see here, but they will be the ones provided by your market center. And so you can click on them, and those should have the forms that you'll need for that type of transaction. Now, again, come through, select which ones you need and which ones you want to add to the room. And if you need to move on to a different packet or a different library, once you have this selected, you can easily just move back into another packet and keep selecting forms. Okay. Notice again, our selected tab is keeping track of those forms we're adding. So at any point, you can come here and say, wait, I didn't grab that one I needed. Let me go back and keep looking for your forms. Okay. So I'm just going to find one here and keep going just so we have one that's got a good amount of blanks on them so I can show you how to edit. Yeah, let's grab a contract. Okay. Once you're ready, go ahead and click Add Selected. It'll let you know they've been added. And now notice we've got these forms added into our DocuSign Room. Just a couple of other ways that you can add forms into your room. You do have an inbox with your DocuSign account. Naomi's asking, what did you click to get the select forms pop up? Right over here at the top right, Naomi, you go to Add, DocuSign Forms, and then we were here, and if I selected any forms, I just click Selected to see which ones I had already selected. Okay. Let me know if you got any more questions. All right. And so again, just a couple other ways that you can add forms into your DocuSign room. One is your inbox right here within DocuSign. You're welcome. You can email forms directly into your DocuSign account. This, the top left-hand corner, is your personal email for your DocuSign account. So let's say the agent on the other side sent you a lot of documents. You need to get them edited and add your client signatures. We can just forward that email to your DocuSign email address and they would appear right here. It'll save you a few steps, keeping you from having to like manually download onto a device, manually upload into your DocuSign. Again, just making it a little bit easier. Okay. And by the way, this email address, at least the first half before the @ sign, you can customize that to make it a little easier to remember underneath your preferences over here. Okay. So you can email forms to yourself. Once they arrive, they'll appear here in your inbox, and then you can choose which room to put them in. Right here, again, going back to our room. Louise, sure, I don't mind covering that again. So I was just clicking on inbox to show you you have an email right here that you can send documents right into your DocuSign account. So you could forward an email or send an email to this email address, and the email will show right here in the inbox. And that way you can click on the forms attached to that email and put them in the rooms that you need them to go to. Just saving you some time. Okay. All right. So let's move back to our room. You're welcome. And last but not least, you can drag and drop a form into your room. So let me just open some forms here. I'm just opening again. This is a window into the device so that I can just drag and drop into the room. So I'll grab a PDF here. and drag and drop. Might take it a second. There it goes. So it just lets you know that it did upload correctly, and it looks like it's already in here several times. There we go. Oh, nope, there we go. Just kidding. It's right here. There's several with SLM, so as soon as I saw the name, I thought it was that one, but it's this one. And so I've uploaded that form. So that's how you can add forms into your DocuSign room. So then you can start editing them. Okay. So let's talk about how to edit them, how to get that information on the form, how to fill it out. Remember when I talked about the details tab in the opportunity? I'm going to go back to that here. Details tab in your opportunity. It's important to make sure that this is filled out as much as possible, especially the key dates section. You'll want to keep updating this as your transaction progresses so that you'll have all your key dates here, as well as the property information and your client information. So with this, as you continue to update your details tab here in your opportunity, you can always come here to make sure this information is synced over to your DocuSign room. This will help this information correctly populate on your forms, saving you time in the editing process. So we'll go ahead. You'll see some information is already synced. It'll show synced, but some shows edited, which means it's been changed since the last sync that happened April of last year. So we'll go ahead and click Sync Transaction to get this information to populate in the DocuSign room. Gives you a green banner letting you know that it was successfully done. I'm going to click Refresh because these edited fields should now show synced. There we go. So now you no longer see the yellow edited label. You can see that everything is now synced. So now I should be able to go over to our DocuSign rooms. Louise, I'm not quite sure why you'd have multiples of the same documents, but in just a few shakes, I'm going to show you how to archive and delete forms. So you'll be able to manage that and take care of that for the duplicates. And so right here, back in your DocuSign forms, when you're getting ready to edit these forms and make changes, just visit your Details tab right here to save yourself some trouble. Come here to your Details tab and just eyeball your information and make sure this is all correct. Again, it should be syncing directly from your Opportunities tab, so it should match perfectly. However, right here in DocuSign, you actually have more fields available on this Details tab than what is in your opportunity. So you can even add a little bit more if you want to. So you can just come through, like if this was a listing opportunity, you might want to look over here and make sure you have your seller's information filled out, your location for the property, the fields concerning that. And as you travel on down, you can see there's a ton of information here, a lot more fields than what you would see in your opportunities. So you can go ahead and add any information you want by clicking the edit button in the top right-hand corner. Filling it out one time on this details tab helps you in the long run so that you're not constantly having to re-enter this information into every form you're trying to edit. So again, just a little prep work, save yourself some time and make sure those details tabs are filled out. Now let's go back to our Documents tab and let me show you how you can edit your forms. Now, you may see these little bitty tiny icons on the forms themselves. Notice how they're different. One is blue with the word form on it. This means it's a DocuSign form. It was one of the ones we came up here and clicked add and went to DocuSign forms to retrieve. That is either an MLS board form or it's a Market Center form. Either way, anytime you see that blue banner with the word form on it, means that there's already fields on that form for you, and all you got to do is click on them and enter your information. So I'm going to click on this form to open it. Again, showing you how to edit your forms. May take it a second. Here we go. It doesn't normally take this long, just FYI. And you can see the forms already listed here. I can put my cursor in them, see them turning blue. You can also see that it pulled the information from our details tab, like the purchaser's name and the address. It pre-filled those forms, those fields for us. And I can just simply go through and put my cursor here and begin typing and filling out the form. You can also come down here if it has check boxes and select what you need to select and move through the form like so. This is for the DocuSign forms. They will have the fields already here in place, and all you have to do is point and click and fill out the information you need filled out. Don't worry about the initials or the signatures. Those will be visible in just a little bit of the process. We will start creating envelopes to send these for signatures, and then they will appear. Wow, this is actually a really poorly done form. So these are mapped out um, between your Market Center or your MLS and DocuSign. So they are the ones working on these fields and adding the forms, the fields to the forms. There we go. And so haven't ever seen one be that off, but in most cases, you shouldn't see that. But either way, you would just simply move through this form and continue clicking and filling in whatever you need. When you're done, just click Save and Close. Again, just covering the editing the form portion, and then we'll get into signatures in just a second. Now that's for a DocuSign form that has that blue label in the word form. It will already have those fields already on the form for you. If you have a red PDF like so, this is something that you probably uploaded from your device. It's a flat PDF, meaning there are no fields to fill out, but you can add them. I'm going to click on this particular PDF real quick just to show you what I mean. There's no fields on this flat PDF to fill in. Okay. It's just a flat document. There's nothing for me to type in, no information to auto-populate. I'll click close. When you have a flat PDF like that, yes, you can add fields to it. A great example would be, let's say, okay, so this is a buyer opportunity, a buyer transaction. Let's say the listing agent sent you the property disclosure for the property you were fixing to put an offer on. Well, with that property disclosure, you would upload it to this room and it would be a flat PDF, but you might need to add some initials in some places. You might need to add some signatures. If it was a different type of form and you needed to add fields that needed to be filled out, you can do all of that here within DocuSign. It is just a couple extra steps versus being able to magically open it and just fill in fields when it's a DocuSign form. You would actually add those fields in the envelope itself. Envelope is just a way of saying that you're getting an email together with all the forms that you want to send, putting some final touches on it, and you're going to send it to the client for signatures or the contact. Okay. So we're going to go over that here in just a couple of seconds, and I'll show you how to get those fields added to a flat PDF. But in order to edit a DocuSign form, you can do it right here from your Documents tab by clicking on the form, filling in the information, and then clicking Save and Close. Louise, when you were just asking about duplicates for your forms here in the room, let's say you decided that this form is extra and you don't need it. It's kind of getting confusing. You want to get it out of the room. You can always select the checkbox beside the form and notice a hidden menu appears right here. This will give you the option to copy or move the document. You can also email it, excuse me, but that's just emailing. It's not going to be for signatures. And just to point out a couple of the others that you will use commonly, you can archive. Archive essentially has an undo button. So if you archive this, it will take it out of the room, but you have a way to bring it back in if it was a mistake. There is a trash can to delete it. There is no undo button. Once you delete it, it's gone. So just be sure that that's what you want to do. So we'll go ahead and delete that particular form. It asks you to make sure you're certain, and you can delete it there. Louise, if you would shoot us an email and we can actually look into that further. We would need to look at your account to see why you might be seeing that particular pop up. Okay. And then we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about why you might not have permissions on that form. Yeah, no problem at all. We're happy to help. And so, again, you have the little pop up menu as soon as you select one of the forms, and you can choose an action from your pop up menu. Now, let's move into how to actually get signatures on these forms and make edits to the flat PDFs in your room. You would select the forms that you want to work on. I'm going to choose our first two little guys that we were working on, and I have them selected with the little check mark. And now I can choose this pen right here, and this will create the envelope, a digital envelope for us. So I'm going to click the pen. It will ask you the recipients that you want to go ahead and pre-fill the information. Remember when I said don't worry about the initial boxes or the signature boxes, even though they don't show on the DocuSign forms when you're editing them, they will populate in the envelope. Well, right here, you're telling them who you want to send this envelope to so that it can go ahead and show those signature and initial boxes. So we'll go ahead and say buyer one, and we'll go ahead and say us, the buyer agent. And we'll click continue. You don't have to choose anybody from that list as well if you don't want to, but it will save you some time on the back end if you do. And this part does take a few seconds as it's creating that envelope for you. And here we are. So this is what it looks like inside of an envelope. We're going to go through our documents, recipients, and then the details in the email itself, like subject line, body text, that kind of stuff. So right here, you'll see the documents you pulled in. Maybe you forgot one. You can always come up here and choose upload and like go to add room documents, and it'll let you choose one again if you needed it or forgot it. You also can X out these documents if you happen to grab the wrong one, and you can put them in different orders if you need to. Below that is the recipient section. Now, we already chose buyer and buyer agent, so it went ahead and added them for us, their name and their email. If you need to manually add somebody, you can always click add recipient and choose that. So we'll just click add recipient. We'll say maybe there's a third person you need to add here. You can put their name and email. And you also want to make sure you choose the action for that recipient. It does set it automatically to needs to sign, but you have a lot of options here that you can choose from. Think about when you have a signed document and you actually need confirmation that the other agent received it to make it official. So you can set it to needs to view. That way you have time-stamped proof of when that person actually received the documents and viewed them. So choose whatever is pertinent to your particular transaction. We'll leave it on need to sign for now. And you can also remove those recipients if you need to. Another option here, see how it says signing order? If you need it to go to one particular person first before it goes to another, you can set a signing order. If you want it to go out to everybody at once, you can just remove that and it will send the same envelope to all the people at the same time. We'll set a signing order. Let's say we wanted to switch the order. You can adjust the boxes to change the number here, or you can just drag and drop and it will change. Okay. You may want to manually change the box too when you switch them around like that. That didn't update automatically, but in a perfect world, and hopefully in your account, it will update automatically. Once you get your recipient set up, you'll move down to the bottom part of your envelope and be able to adjust the actual email itself. This will let you change the subject and the body of the email. You also have the option to keep it customized for each recipient. So you can choose this box and fill out the email that will go to the buyer agent and the email that will go to our buyer here. So we can make it more personal, or maybe they have a different set of instructions and you can do it that way. If you don't care and you just, not that you don't care, but if it doesn't matter in your case and everybody can have the same email, you can just leave it as is, adjust the subject line and the email body here. And when you're ready, just click next. Haritha is asking, are there any templates that we can use to try out the format and see what it looks like? You can use any of your DocuSign forms in there. Yes, 100%. There are ways to create your own templates as well. We have some tip videos on our DocuSign, or excuse me, on our YouTube channel that will show you how to create templates. That's where you can use your Market Center or board forms, fill them out the way that you typically would have them filled out so that some of the fields that you always have to have filled in, no matter what the transaction, you can have that template saved in your DocuSign and pull in that particular template of that form into your room to use. Okay. Jordan, fabulous question. Will the email we send out from DocuSign be the DocuSign email or your KW email? It will be the email address that your DocuSign account is set up under. So the one that you use to link it to command, it's usually your business email. That's the email it will show from your DocuSign when you're sending out for signatures. That inbox for DocuSign is only an internal email that's for you to have so that you can send forms into your DocuSign account. That's not like public facing. Yeah, no problem. That was a great question. So once we're here, guys, I just click next from our envelope. And what you're seeing here is where you can go ahead and put some final touches on these documents. Now, the flat PDF is the first one showing here in the middle. On the left-hand side, you'll have your building blocks, so to speak. And on the right are some different editing options. You probably won't be over here messing with this stuff on the right very often, but I'm going to show you a couple of things over here just to keep your eye on. So from right here at the top, your signers or recipients will be color coded. Notice our buyer agent right here is in yellow and our buyer is in blue. So we'll start with our buyer agent, and on a flat PDF, remember there's no fields that were populated. So if you need to add fields to a flat PDF to a form you uploaded manually into your room, you can simply drag and drop. So we'll take a text box, put it here. Notice some editing options started populating over here on the right. You can just put your cursor into the text field and type whatever you need. Click away when you're done. You can stretch it to change the size. Just kidding. Don't know why that's not working for us, but give me just a second. Let me try again. There we go. And so you can click this and see the edit options over here. Like, is it read only? Or is it a required field that you want them to double click in and then manually type some information into? So we can do read only, and that means they will only see it as text and it's not something they need to click in and answer. You can also add their signature to a flat PDF, add the date signed, and so on. So that's how you would edit a flat PDF. You would need to manually drag and drop the fields over and fill them out. You can also make sure that you check to see if it's a read-only item that they'll just see as text or if it's something they need to fill out. Okay. Julie, you would actually, she asked, how do you add the agent signature before sending? You don't. You add yourself as a recipient, and so you'll receive it and add your signatures. Okay. So unless you have had a like, let's say you wet signed a document and then you manually uploaded it, then your signature will be on it. But if you're looking to digitally sign the document, you'll just need to add yourself as a recipient. Let's move on to the DocuSign form. So down here, there we go. This is the one I was looking for. So down here, you'll see again these gray fields. See all the check boxes that we had already edited. And again, guys, sorry about this. This was a poor example. This form is really rough looking. But this is what normally you would see. Normally it wouldn't overlap the text, but if you ever see that, you might want to move these little fields around just to make sure they're not overlapping each other. Okay. The ones that are grayed out that say text, your recipients won't see those. Okay. They will only see the ones that you've entered text into. You can always still make changes right here in the envelope, like if you forgot to check this box, you can come in and check it. You can come in and add more text or correct a typo. Okay. And so you can come in here, keep those questions coming, guys. I'm going to get through the last bit of the material, but I'll definitely stay and help get the questions answered for you. And so you can come in here again, make changes to the form, but I do want to show you that now those purchasers' initials are already there. Notice it's in blue because it belongs to our buyer. So for our buyer's agent in yellow, we may or may not see signatures here. Scrolling too fast for it. Give it a second to catch up. There he is. So he does have a signature on here and a date signed stamp. So he will also see this when he receives it. When we click up here, you do have a preview option in the top right, because if you're concerned about what they see and what they don't see, you can click preview. If we look at it as our buyer's agent, it will show that form and only the places they need to sign will light up. If I scroll down here, they'll still see the text. Notice all the other text boxes are gone. All the little X boxes that aren't selected are gone. So it does look a little cleaner. But see the purchaser initials, that buyer's agent won't be prompted to click there or even see it. Only when you click over to that particular recipient in blue, they will see their fields. So see, they don't see the buyer's agent's field that needs to be clicked, but they can come down and they'll see their own initials that need to be clicked. Okay. We can X out that preview. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and send this in the bottom right-hand corner or choose to send later. You can schedule it. Or if you need to come back and visit it again, you can always save and close. That way, saving your draft. Last but not least, let me show you this here in our last couple of seconds together. Now, let's say that we sent that. Let's say we sent that envelope. It's made its rounds. Everybody has signed, and you got notification back that it's done. To submit forms to your market center for compliance, and again, this is covered in our opportunities and sales pipeline class as well, but I just want to show it to you. Right over here in opportunities again, under our documents tab, as long as your opportunity and DocuSign Room are properly linked, you will have the option to attach files directly from your DocuSign Room. If they were already signed or available, or maybe a PDF, you'll see them in the drop down right here, and you can go ahead and select them. It will add that document. You'll see it show up as a hyperlink, and that means you've got it uploaded. You can also choose to bring in forms from your computer. So we can choose that. You can browse through your device's files, or you can also drag and drop right here into your opportunity as well. Okay, that may take a second, and I may have not gotten it on my square perfectly. So let me try again for you guys. It's gonna work today. There it goes. Okay. And so again, it may take it a second. You'll get that green banner. It will show uploaded. And once you have all your forms uploaded here that you want, whether you pulled them from DocuSign directly or from your computer, you just come here and click Submit to MC. That sends it over to your Market Center for compliance, and they'll begin the check on their end. Okay? And that is it for our DocuSign 101 class, guys. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but if you're here with me live, I'll be happy to stay and get these questions answered for you. I'll go back through the chat. And if you're watching this back on recording, you can always reach out to us via email. It's support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching.